All right, everyone. Joe Biden is currently getting successfully Me Too'd, and the thing is, because he is a white male and not far left, it doesn't really matter that he's a Democrat. We saw this with a little like Franken or something. The initial claim against Franken didn't sink his career. It was a couple of other people made similar claims thereafter. It doesn't corroborate. It's still not proof or even really evidence of anything. It's still just claims, but that's how you sink a political career these days. Joe Biden is a Democrat. Like, if he were a Republican, he would already have officially announced he's never running for office again, and he would have disappeared off the face of the earth because the Republicans are bad at propping one another up. But what's happened is that Lucy Flores, a Democratic lawmaker, is saying, I think in 2014, Joe Biden came up behind her, like squished her shoulders, sniffed her hair, and kissed her on the head without permission. She was creeped out by it and felt it was a form of assault. The problem for Biden is not the claim itself. The problem for Biden is that the claim is being made, which corroborates a bunch of literal video evidence of him doing similar things. The problem is that we've got, 2 or 3 dozen different examples of Joe Biden with different people doing that same thing, where he's getting a little bit too touchy-feely, including with Jeff Sessions' niece almost, and Sessions sort of waves him off and pushes him away, and then Biden is left looking, rather odd, like a dirty old man sort of thing. The problem is that we have Joe Biden on, in photos and on film, doing this with everyone from 8 to 80. It doesn't seem to matter to him. Now, he's come out before and addressed this when people have said similar things. He says, well, I'm just very tactile in something. Okay, this isn't the 1940s anymore. Saying that you schmooze with every female that moves into your proximity and that you kiss them on the head and freak them out is just being tactile is no longer a workable excuse, including for Democrats. Maybe if he were younger, maybe if he were non-white or something, that would maybe work within the Democratic Party. But they're going to throw him under the bus. And the problem, here's what should piss the Democrats off, is that he's the only person there who passes as center-left. Hickenlooper is not going to be your nominee. Beto's not, even viable anymore. He's talking about eating magic dirt and stupid shit like that. Who in the Democratic Party is left who is actually viable? Your front runner is a self-avowed socialist from the middle of nowhere buttfuck Vermont, a New York native, therefore has heritage in 2 states that are going to vote left anyway. He doesn't bring anything to the table. He lost before against Clinton, of all people, which shouldn't make you very happy. They're trying to tout polls. Oh, he's 10 points ahead in Pennsylvania in a matchup against Trump. Yes, before the general has begun, before the primaries have even heated up. At a time when, if you looked at polling between Trump and Hillary Clinton, you saw basically the same picture. Kamala Harris is a triple minority. I hate to say it, but the Democratic Party is not actually that progressive. They're not going to be able to congeal behind her and piss off all the business Democrats, and she latched onto, occasional Cortex's Green New Deal bullshit. Who's going to carry your party? Elizabeth Warren? The one that takes the DNA test, manages to piss off the entire Cherokee Nation. Who's going to carry the banner of the Democratic Party? They keep offering us piles of bullshit and wondering why they lose. When I'm looking at Joe Biden, though, this is probably the bellwether for him not becoming the nominee. In all honesty, because this is the one thing that could really rankle people down. He's a gaffe master. That alone is a problem, but that's more of a problem in the generals. In the primaries, the thing is, you've got such a crowded left wing within the Democratic Party, all the other candidates being mostly very far left. They're all competing for the majority, of the party because there's simply a lot of them. Biden only had to come in and get 25-30% of the vote. How is he going to do that if every female thinks he's creepy and like everyone else does too? But, creepy Uncle Joe has been around, for years that's been a meme. That's been a meme since the Obama presidency. It's not a new thing. But now you have an actual claim against him. I think this probably prevents him from becoming the president, certainly. If he becomes the nominee, it becomes an issue in the general election. What's going to happen if Trump says, people are saying that he's doing all this, you called me a sexist and said I did degenerated things, but here you've got the Democratic nominee. He's got this active claim against him by a fellow Democratic lawmaker. That's not going to look very good now, is it? Especially in the Me Too generation. It's not going to look good at all. So Joe Biden's fucked, and the Democrats by default are kind of fucked too when you really think about it, because this is the Joe Biden, which this is astonishing to me, has been allowed to become the standard bearer of the Democratic Party. Clinton's not running again. She's already confirmed that. Obama can't run again. There's really nobody else there. I'm surprised Howard Dean didn't bother to get in. I'm actually surprised that Howard Dean didn't announce. It looks like he wants to do the Bloomberg thing. Like Bloomberg initially is like, well, maybe I'll run, and then he decided to sideline himself to fund candidacies because his forte is in supplying huge amounts of dark money to candidates and then controlling them after they get elected. You play both sides. You fund all of the different candidates, and then you have a few favors no matter who wins. Dean is more part of the organizational structure. He's more like a Perez or something. I guess that's what's absorbing his time. He decided, well, people are going to remember my scream, and I don't want that to be... it went viral before, but that was before social media. Maybe I should just, fucking calm down or something. There is no one to save the Democratic Party at this point. The closest thing they've got are people like Julian Castro, young upstarts, or Gillibrand. They're not being taken seriously. They're stalled out at maybe 2% support on a good day. Yeah, Yang out of nowhere. No, Yang's not going to be the nominee either. At this point, it looks more and more like Sanders might actually pull it off. Imagine how funny that would be. And it wouldn't be historically unprecedented. He was the runner-up the last time around in a race where the only other main contender, which is a former VP, which is technically higher up in that hierarchy, generally speaking, may become non-viable because, what happens if there are other claims against him? We've got all sorts of evidence of him doing similar things to this. I would think that that'd be significant. Other people might come out and say, yeah, he made me feel uncomfortable. He tried to hold my hand and sidled up next to me and shit. That could end up happening. You could see Joe Biden get completely knocked out by this. That's about all. Peace out.